Weird Suspense featuring the Tarantula, Issue 1. Though I die, Count Lycosa, you will bear my curse, the curse of the Tarantula. Legend. This story introduces a figure so terrifying that those who become easily frightened are cautioned not to read this magazine. To some he is merely Count Eugene Lycosa, a brooding man with a taste for solitude. But to those unfortunate enough to have learned his unholy secret, he is the Tarantula, a fearsome victim of the horrifying curse of the Tarantula. You can kill me, foolish Count, but you cannot kill the cult of the Tarantula. It will live on through you. Darkness envelops this maximum security prison as a shrieking alarm splits the nighttime air. Attention all guard units. All three of the Barton brothers have been reported missing at bed check. They're still somewhere inside the prison, so keep an eye out. These inmates are dangerous. Over. I just hope those stinking killers do try to break out over my end of the wall, because I'd like nothing better than to come face to face with those dirty scum and... Quick, grab his machine gun before... Hey, here they are! You rotten screw. Come on, hurry it up with that rope. Bugsy ain't gonna wait for us all night. All I got to say is I hope he bothered to come at all. I told you he'd be here. Now come on, let's shake the lead out. Don't worry, you ain't gotta tell me twice. And then, here comes the boys in blue. Come on, man, let's see what you learned about driving while we was in stir. Now, let's get those snakes. The getaway car careens insanely through the benighted streets with the wailing squad car in hot pursuit. We can't shake 'em, Frank. What are we gonna do? Shut up, will ya? I'm gonna try to give them cops a face full of lead jelly beans. The night air crackles violently as a hail of submachine gun fire spews forth from the fleeing vehicle. As the leaden pellets find their mark, the police car shudders like a living thing, then whirls crazily, bursts into a pillar of crimson flame, and then lies there, smoldering, a twisted, blackened coffin. Good shooting, Frank. That puts us in the clear for now, anyway. Yeah, but I'll be darned if I know where the heck we are. And we'd better ditch this car and find someplace to hole up soon. It's starting to rain like crazy. You just keep driving. I'll think of something in a minute. Hey, see that dilapidated old house up there? Head for it. Whoever lives there ought to have some food and clothes we can use. Sure can't keep driving forever in this blasted storm. Count Lycosa, come quickly. Those men coming up the hill, they look just like the escaped convicts whose descriptions we just heard on the radio. Better let me have a look. You may be quite right, Joseph. One of them seems to be carrying a submachine gun. The radio described them as dangerous, sir. Perhaps it would be best if you returned to your room at once, sir. No, Joseph, I don't think so. I think it would be best if I waited for them here. Now hurry, answer the door. We wouldn't want to keep our guests waiting. Yes, sir. No, sir. They don't answer. Maybe there's nobody home. They're home. Knock again. Can't you see the lights on inside? Can I help you, gentlemen? See, I told you they was home. You was right, Frank. You got visitors, Grandpa. Me and the boys figured we'd just drop by for some graham crackers and warm milk. But... Say, this is some layout. It sure is. You don't live here all by yourself, do you, Grandpa? No, he doesn't. This is my house. Joseph lives here with me. Is that so? Who are you? I am Count Eugene Lycosa, but to men of your ilk, I am best known as the Tarantula. Frank, something tells me we've stumbled onto something creepy. Please, let's get out of here. Not in your life. Not while I... He snapped that machine gun like it was some kind of twig. He ain't human. I'm getting out of here, Walt. The front door, it's locked. Come on, maybe there's some other way out of here. Flee while you can, insects. I enjoy the chase. But know this, in the depths of your black hearts, you are all, every one of you, doomed men. Consumed by mortal terror, the convicts raced frantically through the labyrinthine corridors of the decaying mansion. Quick, through that door. Maybe it leads to some kind of way out. Hurry up, I think I can hear him coming after us. In the grip of a fearsome panic, the criminals plunge headlong into the darkened room, to find themselves entangled in what feels like the sticky strands of a giant fishnet. What the? Only a wan shaft of moonlight penetrating the skylight overhead brings the convicts full realization of the agonizing doom that awaits them. Yeah! As the blood-crazed arachnid plummets down the web, the trapped convicts twist and squirm in abject terror until the venomous bite of the tarantula paralyzes their every nerve and transports them glassy-eyed into a world beyond terror, beyond suffering, beyond pain. But who is this Count Lycosa, and whence comes the fearful beast known as the tarantula? To learn the blood-chilling answers, we must venture into the past, to a secluded village of Middle Europe in the gloomy days of the Dark Ages. When, without warning, hideous spider monsters led by a raven-haired priestess crawled forth from their hidden sanctuaries to seize a terrified populace in a grip of icy terror. Some villagers opposed the creatures only to be paralyzed and devoured, while other villagers were dragged screaming from their homes and carried to a hidden glen where, by the light of a blood-drenched moon, the raven-haired high priestess of the tarantula cult performed an unholy ritual that transformed her prisoners step by hideous step into monstrous tarantulas bound to serve the tarantula god and his sordid, blood-gorging cult. While in the village, hear me, my friends, we must shatter the hold that the tarantula priestess has over our people. We must seek out the demon spiders and destroy them. Aye, Count Lycosa, we are agreed on that. But how can we seize the priestess and destroy her cult of evil when not one among us knows the location of their secret glen? Aye, how can we kill the tarantulas when we can't even find them? Be still, my friends, and hear me through, for I have a plan to locate the secret lair of the tarantulas and rid our land forever of the menace they pose to us. The villagers listened and shook their heads, and several nights later, as black clouds caressed the face of an angry moon, the giant tarantulas struck again, paralyzing and devouring all who opposed them, and then crawling off silently into the night with their helpless, shrieking captives. This time, however, there was an impostor among the giant arachnids. And before long, the brave Count Lycosa found himself bearing silent witness to a macabre ceremony, the likes of which no mere mortal had ever seen. It's horrible, watching my fellow villagers being turned into giant tarantulas by the powers of that evil witch. Better head for the village. Later I can return with my townsmen to stamp out these vermin for all time. But there is nothing I can do here alone. And indeed, the following night they did return, winding their way through the benighted forest like a vengeful serpent with torches aglow at its head and tail. Taken completely by surprise, in the midst of a heinous mystic rite, the giant tarantulas fell bloody victim to the clubs and pitchforks of the outraged villagers. And before long, the cult of the tarantula is smashed for all time, Count Lycosa. You have earned the eternal gratitude of every one of us. Thank you, my friend. I only regret there was no way to save those of our neighbors who were hideously transformed by the witch's magic. Count, come quickly. The tarantula priestess is at the stake. In truth, I detest such spectacles as witch burning. But, however cruel they seem, I suppose they are necessary if we are to succeed in ridding our land of witchcraft. This is your doing, Count Lycosa. You have desecrated the sacred glen of the tarantula god and slaughtered his tarantulas without mercy. Now you make ready to slaughter me as well. But mark me well and heed my final curse. For as I die in searing flame, I decree that all your male descendants shall suffer the curse of the tarantula throughout all eternity. They will prowl the countryside with the tarantula powers in quest of victims to appease their spider's lust. They will immobilize your fellow men with the tarantula's paralyzing venom, and then feed upon their human prey as the spider does the fly. Thus will the mighty god of the tarantulas wreak his vengeance upon you and all your issue. For an agonizing moment the laughter lingered before dying in the sizzle of red-hot flame and the acrid odor of burning flesh. Count Lycosa felt a strange chill and shuddered. Pay her no mind, good Count. She is naught but ashes now, and her power has perished with her. I hope so, Jonathan. I only pray that what you say is true. But alas, it was not true. It was not true. I am the descendant of that noble Count Lycosa, and the 11th in my line to bear the heinous spider curse. This is why I live alone, save for my loyal servant Joseph, in this old house, far from the innocent men and women who would otherwise fall victim to my unnatural lust. Still, these men have proven that isolation is not the answer to that which haunts me. We must go from this place, Joseph. Travel to where my tarantula powers may be of some practical value, for I can no longer live in isolation. Hurry, my faithful steward. Ready transportation. We are leaving. This, then, is the tarantula. The end.